It was a difficult decision that I had to make yesterday. It's not a decision that I wanted to make. It's not a decision that I expected to make. And there was a £22 billion black hole between what the previous government had said they were going to spend and what they were actually spending. And what happened when that previous government made a commitments it could not afford, it put pensions in peril, and it sent mortgage rates and rents through the roof.
Ever wondered how politicians can promise lower taxes and increase spending simultaneously? Keir Starmer's Labour Party is about to give us a master class in political doublespeak. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. In this video, we'll dissect Labour's budget claims, exposing the contradictions and selective accounting. You'll gain insider knowledge on how political narratives are crafted and why this one might cost Starmer his leadership. Stick around to see how deep this rabbit hole goes. Rachel Reeves stepped up to the dispatch box, her face etched with concern. The Labour Chancellor's announcement sent shockwaves through Westminster, a $22 billion deficit inherited from the Tories. It was a bombshell designed to set the stage for Labour's economic agenda, but whispers of doubt began to circulate almost immediately. Economic experts raised eyebrows at the timing of this revelation. Why now, and why this specific figure? The $22 billion deficit seemed tailor-made to align with Labour's narrative, conveniently timed with Reeves's first budget speech.
Madam Deputy Speaker, our plan to make work pay will also protect working people. I know that the party opposite are deeply interested in our plans here. So they should rest easy, knowing that our plan will protect working people from unfair dismissal. It will safeguard them from bullying in the workplace. It is right that we protect those who have worked all their lives. In our manifesto, we promised to transfer the Investment Reserve Fund in the Mine Workers Pension Scheme to members.
Some analysts went so far as to describe it as a carefully constructed illusion, suggesting that Labour might be exaggerating financial challenges to justify their own fiscal policies. Keir Starmer didn't hold back in his assessment of the situation. He painted a grim picture, warning that things are worse than we ever imagined, and that the country faces a societal black hole. Starmer claimed the previous government had borrowed almost $5 billion more than expected, further muddying the financial waters. But as he emphasized the need for big asks from the public, accepting short-term pain for long-term gain, skepticism grew. What if the numbers didn't add up? The implications were staggering. Labour's entire economic platform rested on this foundation of fiscal doom and gloom. If the $22 billion deficit turned out to be smoke and mirrors, the consequences for Starmer's leadership could be severe.
So you admit that this increase could hit workers' pay?
I absolutely accept that wage growth may be weaker than it otherwise would have been. I think it was a difficult decision. The hardest decision in the budget yesterday was on national insurance. I wanted yesterday to get everything out into the open and be transparent about the decisions that I needed to make. I'm not going to be coming back with a budget like this in the future.
When confronted with budget discrepancies, Starmer's reaction was telling. He doubled down on criticizing the Tories for their lack of honesty regarding the economic situation, but his defensive posture only fueled further questions. Was Labour using the same tactics they accused their opponents of employing? As doubts continued to grow, even Labour's traditional allies began to express concern. Trade union leaders and left-wing MPs voiced worries about the budget's impact on workers. One expert warned that the proposed rise in national insurance for employers could be particularly damaging for struggling small businesses. The cracks in Labour's carefully constructed narrative were beginning to show. As Westminster braced for impact, a tenacious reporter decided it was time to dig deeper into the numbers behind the headlines. The stage was set for a showdown between political spin and economic reality. While politicians traded barbs over the budget, a seemingly insignificant footnote in a Treasury report caught the attention of Sarah Thompson. This veteran financial journalist sensed a story that could unravel the entire $22 billion deficit claim. But as she dug deeper, why were government officials suddenly so reluctant to answer her questions? Sarah Thompson, known for her sharp eye and relentless pursuit of the truth, noticed peculiar patterns in the deficit calculations. The numbers seemed too convenient, too perfectly aligned with Labour's narrative. narrative. As she requested clarification from government officials, she was met with a wall of silence. This stonewalling only fueled her determination to uncover the truth behind the budget bombshell.
A book is being written about the Prime Minister's time in office. Apparently, it's going to be out by Christmas. Is that the release date or the title?
I have been in office for just under 2 months, and I have delivered the energy price guarantee, making sure that people aren't paying £6,000 bills this winter. Now, what, Mr. Speaker? I think, Mr. Speaker, that is more of a record of action than the honourable gentleman in his 2.5 years in the job.
Thompson's investigation led her down a rabbit hole of financial reports, treasury documents, and independent analyses. She meticulously traced the money trail, cross-referencing data and seeking input from economic experts. What she uncovered was startling. A seemingly innocuous footnote in a treasury report contradicted a key assumption behind the deficit calculations, suggesting that the $22 billion figure may have been exaggerated. The implications of this discovery were far-reaching. If Labour had indeed inflated the deficit, it would call into question the entire foundation of their economic strategy. Thompson's findings raised serious concerns about the transparency of Labour's financial reporting and the credibility of their budget claim. As news of Thompson's investigation began to circulate, economists responded to Rachel Reeves's budget speech with growing skepticism. One expert warned that the proposed rise in national insurance for employers could potentially be a job killer, especially for small businesses already struggling to survive. This concern was echoed by various analysts who feared that the increased tax burden might lead to widespread job cuts. The controversy surrounding the budget had already led to a significant decline in market confidence. Reports indicated that the private sector had shrunk to its lowest point in 13 months, raising alarms about the potential for a prolonged period of economic stagnation. These developments only added weight to Thompson's findings, suggesting that Labour's budget might be built on shaky foundation. As Sarah Thompson's investigation neared its conclusion, Westminster braced for impact. Opposition MPs armed themselves with her report, ready to challenge Starmer's leadership and the credibility of Labour's economic claims. The stage was set for a political showdown that could reshape the landscape of British politics and potentially cost Keir Starmer his position as Labour leader. The Labour budget controversy has laid bare the delicate balance between political narratives and economic realities. Sarah Thompson's investigation exposed significant discrepancies in the $22 billion deficit claim, casting doubt on the entire foundation of Labour's economic strategy. This revelation has far-reaching implications, potentially damaging Labour's credibility and impacting market confidence. As we digest these findings, we're left to ponder, how can we ensure our political leaders provide accurate financial information? The erosion of trust in economic policies could have long-lasting effects on the UK's political landscape. It's a stark reminder that fiscal transparency isn't just a buzzword, it's the bedrock of democratic governance. In the wake of this controversy, voters and economists alike will be scrutinizing future budget announcements with renewed skepticism. The question remains, will this serve as a wake-up call for more honest economic reporting, or is it just another chapter in the ongoing saga of political spin?